I used to think I was tougher than most men my age. I didn't say it out loud, but I believed it. I got through my 40s without any real health scares. In my 50s, I slowed down, but nothing major. By 60, I had a little weight around the gut, some stiffness in my joints, and a bit of hearing loss in one ear. But I told myself that was normal. Getting older, I said. No big deal. The truth is, I was afraid. Not of death. Of being told that something was wrong. Of being told that something inside me was failing and there was nothing I could do. So I did what a lot of men do. I pretended everything was fine. Looking back now, there are 5 moments that should have sent me straight to the doctor's office. 5 warnings that whispered before they screamed. 5 chances to avoid disaster. And I ignored every one of them. Mistake number 1, the chest tightness I called just tired. I remember the first moment clearly. I was walking up the stairs to our bedroom, carrying a laundry basket. 3 steps into the second flight, and it hit me, tightness in my chest. Like someone had tied a belt around my ribs and started pulling. I stopped, leaned on the railing, took a breath. My wife called up from downstairs, "You okay?" I smiled and said, "Just winded." But it wasn't just winded. My heart had stuttered. My vision blurred for a second. And something inside me said, "This isn't normal." I ignored it. Told myself I was out of shape. Later, I learned that was likely an early sign of angina, the heart begging for oxygen. A warning before something worse. If I'd gone then, I might have avoided everything that came after. Mistake number 2, the night I woke up drenched in sweat. The second time was less dramatic but more frightening. I woke up around 2:30 a.m., soaked in sweat. Not just damp, drenched. My pillow was wet. My shirt stuck to me. The sheets were cool, but I was shivering. I staggered into the bathroom, looked in the mirror. I looked pale, almost gray. I splashed water on my face, sat on the toilet, waited for it to pass. I told myself it was a bad dream. Maybe the flu. Something I ate. It wasn't. It was a low-grade systemic infection that turned septic 3 weeks later. When I finally went to the hospital, I had a 104-degree fever and was delirious. The ER nurse told me I could have died. "You waited too long," she said. She was right. Mistake number 3, the garage dizzy spell. I was fixing a gutter bracket on the side of the house. Bent down to grab a screwdriver, stood up, and the whole world tilted. My vision blacked out for maybe a second. My knees buckled. I grabbed the wall. My wife wasn't home. No one saw it. I sat down in a lawn chair, drank water, waited. Told myself I'd skipped lunch. Low blood sugar. Maybe dehydration. But deep down, I knew. That wasn't just dizziness. It was probably a mini-stroke, a transient ischemic attack. The kind that gives you one shot of warning before a full-blown stroke comes knocking. Mistake number 4. The stomach pain I let fester. This one crept in over weeks. A dull ache in my lower left side. At first, I thought it was indigestion. Then maybe gas. I changed my diet a bit, drank more water. Then one night, the pain got sharp. Like a knife under my ribs. I curled up in bed, hoping it would pass. It didn't. Next morning, I collapsed in the bathroom. My wife called 911. Emergency surgery, perforated ulcer. The doctor told me I was minutes from bleeding out internally. That one nearly took me. And it was entirely preventable if I'd gone when the ache first started. Mistake number 5, the shaking hands I pretended not to see. This one took the longest to admit. I started noticing my handwriting changing. Just a little at first. My signature looked more like a scribble. Then my coffee cup would rattle in my hand. My fork slipped twice in one meal. I joked about it. Made excuses. One day, I was putting together a shelf and couldn't get the screwdriver to line up. My hand wouldn't stay steady. That's when I knew. Still, I waited. When I finally saw a neurologist, he confirmed what I feared. Early Parkinson's. He said we could slow the progression, but we lost valuable time. Every one of these moments had a chance to change my future. And I let them pass. Not because I didn't feel them. Because I chose not to act. Because I was proud. Because I was afraid. Because I believed the lie that it's probably nothing. And that lie almost killed me. But the worst part? The price I paid wasn't just mine. They say hindsight is 20/20ths. But what they don't tell you is how heavy it feels when all that clarity comes too late. I can still remember lying in the hospital bed after the ulcer surgery, hooked to machines, for in my arm, my wife holding my hand, and me staring at the ceiling thinking, "You did this to yourself." It wasn't just the pain. It was the shame. Shame that I saw every sign and ignored it. Shame that I knew better, but chose not to act. And most of all, shame that I scared the people I love. After the surgery, everything changed. The doctors told me I needed follow-ups, therapy, physical rehab. I promised them I would. I meant it. But recovery is a funny thing. You don't just heal physically. You heal emotionally, if you're lucky. And for me, that meant facing all the moments I tried to hide. It wasn't easy. When I sat down with my wife a few weeks later, she looked at me and said, "You've been disappearing." She wasn't angry. She was hurt. And I finally realized that every time I stayed silent about what I was feeling, the chest pain, the dizziness, the trembling, I was putting distance between us. It wasn't just about health anymore. It was about presence, about trust. And the hardest part of it all was knowing that she would have helped me if I had let her. I began attending every appointment. I got checked from head to toe. I kept a notebook, wrote down every symptom, no matter how small. I started physical therapy, occupational therapy. I learned about diet, movement, sleep, and how every choice I made either helped me or hurt me. But the damage, it was already done. The neurologist told me if we'd caught the Parkinson's symptoms earlier, some of the tremors might have been delayed for years. We could have begun treatment, therapy, even medication to hold it off. Instead, I was already at stage 2. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was the end of pretending. I also learned something brutal about strokes. That mini attack I had in the garage? Turns out it left a tiny scar on my brain, a place where blood flow had stopped for just a moment. It didn't change my face or my speech, but it changed something. My memory isn't what it was. Names take longer to come. I lose my train of thought mid-sentence. Sometimes, I forget why I walked into a room. Not just casually, I stand there frozen, hoping it'll come back. And when it does, it feels like I've been away. And yet, the worst consequence wasn't in my body. It was in my relationships. My daughter told me one day that she was scared to call me. I didn't know if you'd answer, or if you were even okay. I had never felt so small. I realized that by trying to protect my family from worry, I'd done the exact opposite. I'd made them afraid. Afraid of what might happen, what might already be happening, and what else I might be hiding. So I did the only thing I could. I told them everything. We sat down at the table. My wife, my son, my daughter. I told them about the tightness, the night sweats, the dizzy spell, the pain, the tremors. I told them what I felt, when I felt it, and how I lied, even to myself. There were tears, a few long silences, but also relief. That was the day I stopped pretending. That was the day I started showing up again. Now, every morning, I write down how I feel. I walk. I stretch. I eat right. I take my medication. And I never, not once, keep pain a secret. Because here's the truth. Your body doesn't lie. It whispers before it screams. And if you ignore the whispers, you won't hear the scream until it's too late. So if you're like me, if you've had a weird pain, or a strange feeling, or something off that you've brushed aside, I'm begging you. Go. Get checked. It might be nothing. It might be everything. And if someone you love says, "You okay?" Don't lie. Don't say, "Just tired." Don't wait. Because every minute you ignore it, you're gambling with time you may not have. I waited, and I paid the price. But you? You don't have to. Don't make the same mistake. Please, don't let pride be the reason you lose your future. Don't let silence be the reason your family loses you. I look back now and realize, every time I said, "I'm fine," I was quietly walking toward a version of myself that couldn't speak, couldn't walk, couldn't hold a cup of coffee without shaking. And now that I know better, all I can do is share this with you. It's not weakness to ask for help. It's not weakness to be scared. The weakness isn't pretending it'll all go away. Because it won't. Not unless you fight back. And the fight starts with one step. Point 1 phone call. Point 1 appointment. If you're reading this, this is your warning. This is your moment. This is your chance to choose differently. Don't waste it like I did.